thank you everybody for showing up today. I'm so excited. One, to welcome you to our new campaign headquarters here in South Norwalk. This is a great sign that this campaign has a lot of great momentum behind it, a lot of great people who are sharing the same values that I'm trying to raise in this election. And it's a great space right here in South Norwalk, so why not? As Anna said, I am extremely grateful for the endorsement, not just of Run for Something. It's a great organization that's really grooming the next generation of leaders and of political commentators. I'm also proud to be a gun sense candidate of distinction for Moms Demand Action, because I also demand action. Even here in Connecticut, we know that we can do a lot more to make sure that the way that our public policy around guns prioritizes safety, right? I just can't imagine why anybody would not get on board with that. Particularly the endorsement from the Working Families Party means a lot to me, because that's what we have here in the 140th district. We have a lot of working families, right? The 140th district is full of diversity. We've got pretty much some of everybody represented here, which can be sometimes seen as a challenge, right? Because you have all these different perspectives, and we're gonna disagree on certain things, right? It's so easy to find the things that make us different. My campaign is about focusing on the things that we share in common, and those are much more important to me, right? As different as we are, we all want the same things. We want to live in neighborhoods that are safe. We want to afford to live in those neighborhoods. We want our schools to be properly funded and offer great educational opportunities for our students and families. These are things that we can all get behind. That's the easy thing. And my contention is, once we get behind them in a united way, as one district, not as people with focusing on our differences, then that's the only way we can make progress. If we go to Hartford and say, like, listen, we are united as one district, and we want this, that, and the other, I don't think they can ignore us, right? I think that my candidacy is all about embracing all the diversity in our district, right? Racial diversity, economic diversity, religious diversity. My parents both taught public school for a combined almost 70 years, right? They have instilled in me a great regard and appreciation for public education. What I wanted to do is to get us on the same page about things like public education. When people say, oh my gosh, I'm paying so much money, I don't even have kids in the system, what they're not realizing is that the minute we cut funding, today you might see some savings, but we're going to pay for it in decades to come. Public education is an investment in our future. We have to get on the same page about that. When people talk about affordable housing, right? Some of us are, lucky to be, middle class, and we're doing well for ourselves. And we say, okay, we need affordable housing for people who can't afford market rate. Implying that there's some kind of separation there. But it's important for all of us to get on that same page about affordable housing. If we don't have that economic mix, that diversity here in Norwalk, guess what? Many of us would not be able to afford to live here either, right? When I say we need affordable housing, I mean I need it, you need it, we need to all get on the same page about that. And if we do, we can actually do things that will make sure that, as Norwalk continues to change, it changes in a way that does not compromise its spirit. It doesn't compromise the reason that many of us came here, right? And I always say I don't have the distinction of being born and raised in Norwalk, but I have the second best, which is I got to choose Norwalk as my home, and I really, at this point, can't imagine living anywhere else. I love it. I love the people here. It's the reason I am throwing my hat into this ring. It's not easy, but I think it's important for us to understand that the position of state representative is not anyone's birthright. The only person who deserves to be our next state representative is the person who's going to work harder for it, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm working for it, and I want people to see that I'm not going to take anything for granted, right? In some ways, it's an asset that I don't have the same long history that other politicians here have, because I don't owe anybody anything. I don't have any beef with anybody. I am willing to work on the things that we all want to work on. And if anybody else wants to work on those with me, I want to work with you. That's it. As Anna said, there are a lot of issues that we can work on at the state level that will make a real difference in our lives here in Norwalk, right? Beyond, the idea of being able to afford to live here, beyond the idea of making sure that our schools are adequately funded, I'm very interested in our approach to our environment, right? We live on the coast here in Norwalk. We are very vulnerable to changes in climate and the way that our sea levels are changing. Again, these are things that we don't necessarily see the immediate impact of, but we have to plan for, otherwise we're compromising our future. I'm very interested in reforming our criminal justice system, right? I think that drug addicts are people who need medical help. They not necessarily need to be treated as criminals. I think that as we see different kinds of progress we've made in the last decade or so being eroded at the federal level, we need to do everything we can in Connecticut to make sure that we protect, for example, access to affordable health care, right? Again, that's something that affects us all. I think we also need to think about our infrastructure, right? These are things that, again, as easy as it is to find things that we differ on, these are things that we can all get behind. I want to be that candidate that helps us get on the same page, that helps us speak with one united voice. I want to be the Democrat who represents all of the 140th District, all of Norwalk.